Okay, I guess I'm live right now. So this is my YouTube channel. We have, of course, an internet newspaper that we do, bigjreport.com. Also, the Teal Shirt Report podcast, which is about the Jaguars and North Florida entertainment. So we do pretty much the same type of stuff. Um, using different platforms. The Teal Shirt Report, for the Jaguars podcast and North Florida entertainment on bigjreport.com. And this is kind of a relaxful, you have to admit, this is kind of a relaxful format. I need a haircut too. I've been involved in the pandemic, so my hair is out of control. So I got to shave, get a haircut this week. The lady that's cutting my hair, I've got to call her. So I'll probably get my hair cut this upcoming week. So I look pretty Neanderthal. I look like a caveman at this point. That I've been in seclusion for several weeks, right? No, I go out most every day. I am considered essential. I run the bigjreport.com. I do some marketing projects too. Um, I'm on Twitter, but it's most of my stuff is pushing the bigjreport.com, my website. The Teal Shirt Report podcast is something I actually enjoy doing. It's about the Jaguars and North Florida entertainment. We started the Teal Shirt Report podcast. The Teal Shirt Report, trying to smile a little bit there. And this is an experiment. I think I'm the only one that can see this video, unless I go public with it, right? Okay. Well, that's the hope. It says live. It does say live. But I think I made it private, so I don't think anyone can see it but me. But who knows this day and age? So this is just a little video, simply talking about the things that we're going to do. This is a new YouTube channel, but we're talking about the same stuff. The bigjreport.com website, the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We do have a Facebook group too. That actually the Facebook group is pretty popular. Like well over 500 members, and we mainly do a lot of stuff about Jacksonville, North Florida. I think the Facebook group and even the website is very representative of me, of where I've lived. I've lived most of my life in North Florida. I did move up to Western Georgia. I lived in Alabama for a while. So most of what I do, we have a neighbors section on the website that is primarily for South Georgia and maybe a little bit of South Alabama. So most of what we do is North Florida, South Georgia, a little bit of South Alabama, and maybe a teeny weeny bit of Central Florida. We got some people in Central Florida that are part of the group. Mr. Larry down in Apopka is a pretty nice guy. The Jimmy Buffett of Facebook, by the way. Larry, that's not me. That's Larry from Apopka is the Jimmy Buffett of Facebook. So this is my Neanderthal look. I mean, I know I look like a caveman. I look kind of rough. I'm probably making Fred Flintstone look pretty good with the way I look right now. But I'm just being myself. I will get a haircut this week. I'll shave. Should look a lot better. The mustache, a lot of people don't want me to shave the mustache, but some people do. So we'll see what happens with that. But I guess you would say and keep in mind, I've had broadcast experience for well over 20 years. I worked in the radio medium for a long time. I had speech in college, radio, TV in high school. So, and then 20 years, well over 20 years of professional media, where I worked in radio for well over 20 years. I was a program director, general manager of a station the last several years when I was up in Georgia. So I worked in radio a super long time. I mean, a real long time. I used to write a lot of promos for, commercials and promos for, different type of programming events we'd have. So I kind of built some writing skills, kind of like some OJT writing skills. So that's why I thought I would get into doing the internet newspaper. I really loved my area that I'd moved back to. I moved back to Jacksonville about 9 years ago. So basically, everything is kind of how you see it. It's pretty well relaxed here at World Headquarters. Now, I'm actually in the bedroom, but most of the time I'm in the office room, which is the other room from here. But then I usually move the laptop back to the bedroom at night when I'm probably right before I'm getting ready to go to sleep. But if I can do a Facebook Live message, I don't mind doing it. You know, I like I said, I need a haircut, need a shave, but I love talking about our area and the things we do at bigjreport.com, which I enjoy greatly doing it. We've got a lot of website hits. I think we've had over 200,000 web hits in the last close to 3 years. I run the website, and it's a business. It's basically a small business for me, and we enjoy doing it. The Teal Shirt Report is something that I enjoy doing because I've covered the Jaguars in the media since the inception of the Jaguars back in 1993. So we'll come on here again. We'll tell you about some of the other stuff that we're going to do. Hopefully next time. Well, maybe not the next time, but probably within a few of these episodes. My hair will look a little different because I'm going to get a haircut. I've been kind of stuck inside with the pandemic, but I go out most every day because I'm considered essential with the Big J Report, obviously, the bigjreport.com. We do the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Now, the Teal Shirt Report podcast, I will tell you that we're on several platforms with that. And when I started podcasting, I was doing radio broadcast for years, news, sports, high school football play-by-play. I've done a gamut of stuff on the radio, music programs. Like I said, I've been in radio well over 20 years. Worked in marketing a few years and do marketing projects now. So I stay really, really busy. So these are some of the things we do, with Teal Shirt. When I was going to talk about Teal Shirt Report, the podcast, the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I'm proud of it. We took some pictures of different things that I guess ended up kind of being the artwork for the podcast, which they tell me is pretty important. When you see the little bit of, you see the artwork that's in the little square of the podcast when you're promoting your podcast. But I feel like I know what I'm talking about as far as the Jaguars go. There's not many games I've missed since I moved back to Jacksonville. About 9 years ago, I usually go to at least 2 or 3 games every year. If I'm not at the stadium, I'm watching at home in the 50-yard line seat at World Headquarters. So I keep up with the Jaguars. Since I've moved back, it's been Blaine Gabbert, brother Blake Bortles. Now we got Gardner Minshew playing quarterback. We traded Nick Foles. The Nick Foles experiment was gosh, what did Nick play? Less than 5 games for the Jaguars, and then we traded him for a 4th-round pick to Chicago. I wish Nick Foles well. I wish we could have kept Minshew and Foles, but the money is, in the NFL, the money dictates everything. The money really does dictate everything. So if you got a guy with a big contract, he's got to play. If he's a quarterback with a big contract, he's going to have to play. You got a 1st-round draft pick that's a quarterback, and he's one of the first 5 picks, maybe even the first 10, one of the first 10 picks. He's most likely going to have to play pretty quick. Maybe he doesn't play the first few games. But Minshew is a guy that I wasn't even sure he'd be on the roster last year. He was drafted in the sixth round out of Washington State. I saw him in the preseason. I mean, the first game, he got hammered. His helmet came off. And I said, oh, geez, the guy probably going to end up on the practice squad. But he actually got better each preseason game from, preseason game 1 to 2 to 3. And so each preseason game, he got better. Then, lo and behold, Foles gets hurt in the first game. Now, Foles threw a beautiful touchdown pass against Kansas City, but he hurts his left shoulder. Basically, what did he do? He broke his collarbone. So Foles is out, for several games, and Minshew gets his shot. I mean, Minshew had a great year for a rookie. He played in parts of 14 games, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Very smart guy, seems to be able to learn offenses fairly quickly. So the key thing with Minshew is simply going to be this. He's really going to have to, let's face it, he's going to have to learn to go from year 1 to year 2 with some improvement. I mean, he improved in all the preseason games last year. He did some good things in the regular season. The most impressive things, I'd say the 3 most impressive things with Minshew last year was the improvement I saw in the preseason that he did. Okay. And then the come from behind wins at Oakland and at Denver were really good wins. Come from behind wins on the road. The Jaguars, no matter who the quarterback has been, they've had an awful time winning on the road since maybe Mark Brunell won a couple of playoff games on the road back in, 96. So, I mean, Minshew won at Oakland, the final game ever to be played at the Oakland Coliseum, and, unless something crazy happens. But that's probably the last NFL game that'll be played, last regular season game that'll be played in Oakland, California at the Oakland Coliseum. So, I mean, Minshew, I don't even have a microphone here. I do have a microphone I do the podcast on, so we'll try setting up a microphone on the last video. I can be long-winded. I can sit here and say, hey, we're going to do a 2 or 3 minute little promotion. Now, you'll notice on the YouTube channel that we did make a little video out of the podcast, and that's just a little snippet, like 1 minute of the podcast. It's like a promo for the podcast, or just letting you hear about a minute or so of the podcast to give you an idea of what it sounds like, what we do. So we hope you enjoy the channel. I promise you guys, I'm going to get a haircut. I like my mustache to a point, even though when I cut my mustache off, people say, oh gosh, Scott, you look a lot younger when you cut off your mustache. So that's the advantages to cutting off the mustache. But I'll shave, I'll primp, we'll look a little bit better. I'll also show you some of my Jaguars memorabilia that I have, some of the mini helmets that I have that I've gotten signed by players over the years, and we'll put that in here on the on this podcast. This isn't really the podcast, this is the YouTube channel. This is a video. We're doing a video. The podcast is different. It's not a video. But the stuff we do is for BigJReport.com, the Teal Shirt Report podcast. And now we're kind of embarking on this YouTube channel. And, most of the stuff on YouTube may actually be promotions for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. But if I can break in here and do a little video, and I don't, basically scare people, because of my appearance with needing a haircut, needing to get shaved, then, most of my information is pretty topical, because we do change the Teal Shirt Report podcast is changed at least once a week. There's a lot of weeks we change it as many as 3 times a week. So there's always something going on. As we record this video, we just completed like the 35th show or episode of the podcast. So we certainly, we appreciate all the people listening. We got people listening in anywhere from 12 to 14 states on the podcast. We've got international people listening. We've got some good listeners in Ireland, the UK, England, Wales, I think we got a listener in Germany, Hong Kong. Hey guys, we've got a lot of people listening and keeping up with what we're doing. So the videos will improve. Keep in mind the pandemic has not made it really an easy thing for me to get a haircut, and and people know what I'm talking about, because unless the social distancing is kind of a new element, since this COVID-19 situation. But I think I've talked enough today. But I'll be back. We'll talk a lot about the Jaguars, North Florida entertainment. That's kind of our specialty. And again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, understanding sometimes in life we have limitations, but I think I have a lot to give. I love the area that I live in, that I'm originally from. I actually love a lot of the areas that I lived in at other times when I was in radio for a long time, like over 20 years. So I've worked radio. I've been basically a Southeast sports talker in about three different states: Florida, Georgia, Alabama. I've been a music programmer, general manager of a radio station. So that's kind of where my expertise lies. Okay. And I love sports, music. Sports and music will be big things we'll talk about on on these YouTube videos. I don't know how elaborate we're going to get on the videos, but I hope you stay with us. My name is Scott. I run a website. It's called thebigjreport.com. It's more or less like an internet newspaper magazine. We have a lot of clutter on the website, so I have to go in and change things up. We do update the weather for North Florida in there 24/7. That's a big pet peeve of mine. We're going to update that weather. No, the worst pet peeve for me is the keyboards on the computer, probably. But when I say pet peeve, is we want to go in and update that North Florida weather report at least twice a day. Keep it updated, for those that go on the website. We've had a lot of people on the website. I think I'm estimating now that we've got, and we do our website through a pretty good company, GoDaddy, which when I started it back in, we started the website back in about June 1st, 2017. We went with Go Central, which essentially was GoDaddy. So we've been with them for a good little while now. I mean, this is a raw video. I mean, you're looking at me needing a haircut. I'm talking about the Jaguars. I'm basically in the world headquarters bedroom here. I've got some decent lighting, but I'm so glad you're here with us today. We'll be back. We'll do it again. I'll get the famous haircut. We'll shave up a little bit because I'm not really a TV guy. I'm more of a radio guy. You ever heard that saying, "A face made for radio"? That's probably me. But thank you for viewing. The listening is probably better because I feel like I have some stuff to say. And again, thank you for joining us. This is actually my first video of the YouTube channel. And I think I really need to hook up I've got a pretty nice microphone we do the podcast on. It's one of the Yeti microphones. So I'm just basically using the microphone on the laptop right now. So it's going to be a horrendous sound for this first one. And it's more of a test. And we're recording this. I think it's private where only I can see it, but I'm sure I can make it public. So that's what we've done this time around. So you guys, thank you for viewing. Any kind words you have to say about the video is fine. I'm going to say this has not been a perfect video. If you have kind things to say, great. If you want to lambast me, that's fine too. It's going to improve. It's going to go. We're kind of at the bottom of the basement in the elevator now, so we're going to keep going until we get way on up there to at least the 18th floor. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching my first YouTube video. And keep in mind, we've got a website that I put a lot of love and emotion into, bigjreport.com. That's bigjreport.com. And we do the TEAL Shirt Report podcast, which is on Anchor. It originates from anchor.fm. You can also catch us on Spotify. So when you go on Spotify, you got a Spotify account. There's a place where you can listen to your music. And then there's another place you click on podcast. And you can type in Teal Shirt Report, and there we are. So you can check us out on all the different platforms for the Teal Shirt Report. Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts. We're at Google Podcasts too. There's many other platforms that we're probably on 7 or 8 different platforms altogether. So the main ones are going to be Anchor, Spotify. Pod Paradise is one that one of our Big J Report contributors, JC, found me on. He said, you're on Pod Paradise. I had no idea who they were, but they picked up apparently they picked up the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We're on in about 12 to 14 states with the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We're on internationally in, a few countries in the UK, Asia, around the world, basically. So whoever can tune in and catch us at anchor.fm, on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast. I'm forgetting one. Spotify is a good one, though. I've listened to our podcast on Spotify. Spotify is a good one to be on. Anchor is good as well. Everybody has their place. Buzzsprout has a really nice looking player that you can listen to the podcast on too. So we're on several different platforms. Thank you for listening to watching our first video for YouTube. I had all some elaborate schemes we're working on for the set. There may be times where you see a Jaguars mini helmet, but you don't see me. You see what I'm saying? You hear my voice? So that'll do it for this event. First YouTube video. My name is Scott. And, quite frankly, have a great day. We'll be back sometime. Catch us at bigjreport.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. Comments are accepted. I am a sensitive guy, though, so be kind. But, hey, if you want to lambaste me too and, say, hey, feed me to the wolves, that's fine too. You guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. That's going to do it for this YouTube video. Thank you for listening. Check us out at bigjreport.com, Teal Shirt Report podcast. We talk about the Jaguars, North Florida entertainment, stuff going on around the area. I keep up to date with weather, sports, news, music, love music. So that's kind of where we are. That's kind of the stuff we're going to do in the YouTube videos. So variety, I think most people that do these videos do a niche. So I think we've got a compounded niche, if that makes any sense to you. Have a great day. My name's Scott. We'll do it again sometime. Take care.